The social issue that is at hand is police brutality against African Americans. Lacio Sierra and I will discuss and explore this social issue. The problem is police brutality. The population is minorities, with Kentucky being the arena. The bigger social issues that are at hand here include institutionalized racism, oppression, and discrimination. So, as far as the background of this issue, African Americans have been oppressed and discriminated from as far back as times of slavery, where they endured beatings and being treated as property. After the slavery time, the oppression of blacks led to the civil rights movement and even Jim Crow laws. As far as engagement, we will have trainings that will include implicit bias training for officers to explore and acknowledge their biases, diversity training, as well as de escalation training for officers to learn more strategies about how to de escalate situations without resorting to aggressive violence. The impact of the macro issues that we discuss could be a challenge as far as community engagement with the history of minorities being treated. Minorities may not want to participate in the community. Another engagement aspect we have is the buddy system. As far as the buddy system, this is used for officers to hold each other accountable. If there's two officers that are used for situations where they feel as if it may get escalated quickly, the buddy system, each officer can balance each other out, checks and balances. So, the program that we are going to introduce is called Training for Life. Training for Life is a program that trains you for life in order to save a life. So, for this program, we encourage fostering better relationships between community and authority, a better female presence within the police force, gaining back the trust of minorities in the community, as well as reducing the fear of authoritative figures. Police are often seen as the bad guy versus those who should be here to protect and serve. The mission statement of Training for Life is improving the relationships between police officers in the communities they serve, with a special emphasis on decreasing police misconduct and police brutality against members of the community. In this program, we value respect, positive relationships, and unity. So, some of the gaps were the lack of women in the police force. There was research that shows that women are less likely to shoot or use force when having an interaction with individuals that they encounter if they happen to pull over somebody or be arresting somebody. And there's also a lack of efficient training, so police officers need to have more training that allows them to be able to handle certain situations rather than just being so quick to use like force or just like using violence or shooting somebody when they come into contact with people. And there's also a lack of trust between the police and the community. There are a lot of people who don't feel safe when they see the police, even though they're supposed to feel protected by law enforcement. And there's also a lack of services provided in minority communities, the need for more data to understand the problem. There was a source that says there was a need for more data to understand the problem of the disproportionate rates of police brutality against. The event that we set up to have, we were going to pass out flyers for community and police about me event. We're going to post flyers on social media There's going to be family and survivors speak out at the event so they can tell their personal stories and just basically do a little bit of motivational speaking to all the people that want to participate in the program. And we're also going to have police who have witnessed or been involved as speakers in the program so they can give a little insight to people about their own experiences and what they basically have learned and gathered while working as a police officer. And the challenges, we said the challenges was going to be the participation from both the community and the police, like getting people to actually want to come out and participate. And we felt like there may be a lot of people who may feel like the program may not be successful, or they may not think that it's going to work. And another challenge is having each party put the things that they learned from the training into effect, like actually going out into the community and using what they learned in the trainings to use in real life. And another challenge would be the funding needed to have like the programs and the trainings and everything needed to make the program run. And the assets was the youth, the people who have had experiences with police misconduct and police brutality, NAACP, and the people with good relationships with the police. Like, all of these are necessary and I feel like important when it comes to the program because they all are important in their own little ways.
Here are some of the facts to help back up some of the statements that we mentioned previously. One thing that we stated previously was that there needed to be more women in the police force. Women can help decrease the amount of police misconduct and police brutality. It is reported that 11% of women will discharge their weapon compared to 30% of men when they are out in the field. Another thing that we mentioned was the buddy system. The buddy system is also known as EPIC trainings. EPIC trainings originated in New Orleans, where authorities collected data for over a year and found that misconduct and brutality decreased by 63%. Another thing that we found during our research is that stereotypes about minorities encourage the desire for police officers to discharge their weapon and use excessive force. We came up with 2 focal points for our budget to help with our Training for Life program. The first focal point will focus on the trainings for the police officers. There are a little under 8,000 police officers in the state of Kentucky. We would need $150,000 a year to fund these trainings for liability purposes and for the instructors. The other focal point of our budget is the community events. The main purpose of the Training for Life program is to build the connection and bond and trust between the police officers and the members of the community. To do so, we will host 3 community events a year, and that budget is set to be at $50,000. The expenses will go towards venues, food, and activities. For our evaluation process, our inputs is the program, the funding for the trainings of the police officers, and funding for the community events to be hosted 3 times a year. Outputs activities is going to be the trainings for the police officers and the funding for the venue, food, games, and activities for the community events. Participation is going to be the police officers for the trainings, and for the community events, it's going to be both police officers and members of the community. Our short-term outcome is to build trust and relationships between police officers and members of the community. Our medium outcome is to change how police officers view the members of the community and how community members view police officers. Our long-term outcome is to decrease police misconduct and police brutality. To sum it all up and bring it all together, the Training for Life program is something that needs to happen. It needs to happen because it will decrease the instance of police brutality and police misconduct. It will build trust between police officers and members of the community. It will also improve the relationships between police officers and members of the community. And lastly, it will provide the perspectives from both parties to make it all happen. I hope you all have enjoyed our PowerPoint presentation, and most importantly, I hope you all walk away with something that you have gained in knowledge.